to time. This is lesson 2. And I'm going to do a quick review. The shorter hand on your analog clock is called you're right, it's called the hour hand. It points to the hour, and that's what comes first when we're talking about the time. Right now, it would be 3, because the hour hand is pointing to the 3. There's our semicolon, separates the hour from the minutes. And oh no, here's our minute hand. It's straight up. No minutes have gone by yet. So we're going to put 0, 0. And we say that by saying 3. You're right if you said o'clock. It's 3 o'clock. And as the minute hand goes around, remember there's 5 minutes between each of those digits on a clock. So that would be 3:05, 3:10. You can skip count by 5s. 3:15, 3:20, 3:25, 3:30, 3:35, 3:40. Remember yesterday we talked about how that hour hand moves to the next hour. It's almost closer to the 4 than it is the 3, but it's still the 3 o'clock zone. So we need to remember it. It's still the 3 o'clock zone. And it's 3:40 right now, 3:45. As we get closer to 4 o'clock, this hour hand's going to move closer to that 4, but it's still the 3 o'clock hour. 3:50, 3:55. Ooh, it is touching that 4, but it's still the 3 o'clock zone. Why is it almost touching the 4? Well, it's almost touching the 4 because it's almost 4 o'clock. So remember that with the hour hand. Today we're just going to do a quick lesson looking at half of the clock. And if I took a marker and I went and split my clock in 2, there would be one side and another side. There would be 2 sides. And if I just went to one of those sides, this side, that would be half. So we're going to take half the clock. Whoops. We're going to take half the clock, because this is a half, and we're going to call it a half hour. Half hour. Let me write that right here. Now, a half hour has how many minutes? Well, we know 1 hour has 60 minutes. So what is half a 60? I know some of you know that answer. But let's just go ahead and count it out. If I go half the clock, I'm going to end up on this 6 right here. Let's count out and see how many minutes are in a half hour. We have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30. There are 30 minutes and a half an hour. Again, look at my hour hand. It's right in between. But is it 4:30 or is it 5:30? Whose hour zone is that? It's between the 4 and the 5, so we're always going to go to the hour that comes first, and that would be the 4. It's 4:30, and that's a half hour. In this page that we're doing, we're just going to be looking at half hours. So let's look at these pages. And here we go. Time to the half hour. You need to read the directions down here. It's going to have you place the hour hand at the 5. And what I really want you to do when you're doing these pages is please exaggerate the short hand or the hour hand. Make it really short right here. There's our 5. And then it says put the minute hand on the 6. And we're going to really exaggerate that minute hand, and we're going to make sure that minute hand covers up those digits, because remember, the minute hand does not care about those digits, doesn't care about the numbers on there. It just wants to count up the minutes. So that would be 5:30. As we go on to the next page, really quickly, you're going to have to tell me what time it is. Well, on this one, let me see if I can get my clock to it. The minute hand is between or the hour hand, I'm sorry, is between the 9 and the 10. Whose zone is that? Between the 9 and the 10. Remember, it's always the hour that comes first. And in this case, it would be the 9. So that comes first right here. It's 9. And the minute hand's on the 6. So we can count it out, or you can just memorize. If that minute hand's on the 6, it's half an hour. How many minutes in a half an hour? You're right, it's 30 minutes. It's 9:30. All right, the next one. The hour hands between the 1 and the 2. Whose hour zone is that? You're right if you said 1. It's the 1 o'clock zone. So it's 1. And how many minutes have gone by? 30 minutes. Now sometimes if you're walking on this street in a busy city, it gets really, really busy. People don't have time to tell you exactly the time. I call this clock talk. They talk very fast. And instead of saying 9:30, they will say, it's 9:30. 9:30. Well, does that make sense? What they're saying, 9:30, is it's half an hour past 9 o'clock. So right here, you put 9:30. If you were walking on the streets of that busy city and you said, excuse me, sir, what time is it? And it was this time, they might say, it's 1:30. What does that mean? Well, it's half an hour, 30 minutes past 1 o'clock, or 1:30. Good luck with the rest of the lesson.